Am I the idiot for dropping my friends for revealing my husband's infidelity? I've known for years that my 44F husband, 49M, cheats on me. I grew up with a single mother who worked night shift at a motel. I made it my goal to give my kids a better life. Aged 18, I married my high school sweetheart. We both got jobs, him at a manufacturing company and me at a department store. Things went well until year 7 of our marriage when the company my ex worked at closed. He fell into a depression and ended up having a one-night stand with a girl in another city where he was interviewing for a job. He confessed when he came home and said that he was depressed because the job interview was bad and he was upset from the fighting and us not sleeping in the same bed. I was furious and immediately kicked him out. Here's where my friend Marie comes in. Marie was a maid of honor at the wedding. When I told her why I had kicked my ex out, she was sympathetic. However, after I told Marie my husband wanted to talk about how he's been working on himself ever since he cheated. Marie seemed sympathetic to the cheater and said maybe I should hear him out as a courtesy. However, I declined and divorced him. A year later, I start dating my now husband. His business started raking in a lot of profits soon after we met. After we married, I kept my friendship to Marie even though she wasn't part of the Santa Barbara scene. My husband retired my mom after we got married. He also funded my boutique business. However, he is someone who gets bored easily. At first, when I caught him cheating, he apologized. However, this one time we fought about his cheating, he threatened divorce. After that, he and I silently came to the agreement that his affairs better be discreet. It was never openly discussed and he knows I'd prefer he be faithful, especially since we have an active sex life. However, I prefer this over divorce, ruining my daughter's life, and dealing with a prenup his lawyers crafted that protects future earnings as well. Yes, that is legal. In my circle of friends, many women deal with this. They subtly provide me with emotional support. However, Marie works in the hotel industry and became aware of my husband's cheating. When she tried to subtly allude to the possibility, I brushed her off. However, last week, when we were together with another friend of mine who lived in SB, Marie brought up that my husband was cheating and who with. I tried to get her to stop, but she got fired up and started listing all the ways my husband was a cheater. I was furious and did not know why she wouldn't let it go. After the other friend left, I got in a fight with Marie about how she tried to get me to work it out with my ex, and she said my current husband was far worse. The way she kept telling me how my husband was horrible rubbed salt in the wound that she opened. I finally told her we had an arrangement and that I didn't want her around me anymore. She has tried calling me, but I decided I did not want to continue this friendship. Comment 1. This. She told her friend how she expects to be treated, so when her friend found out about her husband's cheating, she was like, "Oh, my friend doesn't like being treated this way, I have to let her know." If OP were my friend, all she would have had to say is, "We have an arrangement. He cheats, but he provides the lifestyle I want, so it works out." And I would say, "Okay, if that's what makes you happy, get the bag, girl, and keep it moving." There's nothing wrong with a transactional relationship as long as both parties are good with it. But don't be mad at your friend for their accountability to you. Comment 2. I don't get it. Why did you not forgive your first husband, who sounded way more remorseful than your current husband? But you forgive your current husband and allow him to continue to cheat as long as he doesn't tell you about it. And he threatened a divorce in order to keep you quiet. Whereas your first husband promised to never do it again, but this one continues to do it, and it's acceptable for you. Money has to be the only reason. Your first husband didn't have money, and his cheating gave you a reason to walk away. This one has money, so you stay, but are obviously not happy about it, which is why you blew up on your friend. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for not forgiving my husband, 26M, for a mistake and not trusting him with our child? I, 24F, gave birth to my daughter 6 months ago, and it should have been the happiest moment in my life. When my daughter was born, her skin was very dark and looked like she could have 2 biological parents who were of African descent. My husband Jim, 26M, fake name, was furious and accused me of cheating and left right then and there. He told everyone on both sides of the family what happened, made posts on social media, and wanted a divorce. His family and a lot of our friends all called to say how upset they were at me and called me really nasty names. My mother was by my side the entire time and I kept professing my innocence. Jim refused to pick me up from the hospital, threw my stuff out on the lawn and changed the locks, so I had to stay with my parents. When my sister called to ask for the baby stuff, Jim texted me pictures of the bare nursery room and said he got rid of everything. He even destroyed my art studio. I like to paint, and the art I made, and told me my work would be too awful to sell. I was distraught and tried to focus on my baby. Weeks went by and Jim refused to speak to me directly and has never once asked about our child. Eventually, he agreed to do a paternity and he was 100% the father. No one could believe the results and it was done again. Jim's the dad. Around that same time, one of Jim's cousins did the ancestry thing and there was around 30% of African ancestry in the family. This combined with the test, Jim's paternal great-grandmother admitted to having an affair around the time Jim's grandfather was born, and was because he could pass, she just assumed her husband was the father. Since then, Jim has been reaching out and everyone has come to apologize, and while it did feel good to feel vindicated, the damage has been done. I can't unhear or unsee all the horrible things that was said and done. Not just to me, but to my child as well. Jim made some very racist remarks. Things that I thought he'd never say, and he did it so easily. Regardless of what our daughter looks like, I don't want her to be around that. What else will Jim and his family say or do the next time they get mad? How are they going to treat our daughter when she does something that upsets them? Jim has been begging for forgiveness. I said I needed time. He asked to see the baby and I let him, but I'm too afraid to physically hand her to him. He's repairing the nursery and keeps asking me what I would like, and I cry every time, saying we already had what I liked, and some of the items that we had can't be replaced. He asked me if I still loved him and I admitted that he showed me his worst self and I don't know if I could live with that image. I didn't mean to be hurtful, but it's how I feel. My sister suggested couples therapy, but I don't feel like I should have to work to fix something that I didn't break. I've never cheated and have been 100% innocent in all of this. The whole AITA for not wanting to give Jim a second chance. Update 1, I stepped away for a few hours and couldn't believe what I came back to. I am truly amazed by all the wonderful comments of support as well as the private messages. I also understand why some people may think this is fake, and all I can say is that you are free to believe what you want in this. I also see some questions and I think I should clarify a few things just in case your judgment may change. All of this initially happened at the near February and I was already settled at my parents' house before the pandemic hit. One of the reasons Jim wouldn't pick me up from the hospital was because I wouldn't admit to cheating or give him any details, because there weren't any, which made him angrier. Based on the pictures Jim sent me, he didn't take a sledgehammer to the crib or anything. He just took stuff down to either return it for the money or gave it away. While deeply hurtful, I wouldn't call it violent, but maybe it is. Online he announced that I pushed out a dark-skinned baby and he was divorce me. His family started with the racial comments and eventually he started doing it too, but only through my family. He refused to speak to me directly. Once the truth came out, everything he and his family posts were all taken down, but I and a few friends still have the screenshots. Jim never wrote down his racial remarks. While he didn't say any of the racist words, he did make comments about our daughter being a welfare princess and how I was going to be just another baby mama. Just to clarify, Jim is a white and I am at least half white. One of my parents is adopted, and with everything that's happened they decided to do the ancestry thing too, and we should be getting the results any day now. Update 2, spelling errors. Update 3. Mod denied separate post, so it's here as an edit. Thank you so for all your words of encouragement a couple months back, both in posts and the DMs. A lot of things have happened since my initial post and I just needed time to process it and be in a place where I can write about on social media. So here it goes. First, my parent who was adopted did the ancestry/23 thing, and it turns out that Jim wasn't the only one who had African ancestry. My parent had at least 45%, which means I have at least 20%. I am legally separated from my husband with primary custody, and I'm living with my parents until further notice. He still keeps apologizing and wants me to come back to the house. He even offered to leave so I could stay with our daughter, but I don't want to and really like having the support of my parents. My dad is retired, so he does a lot of the babysitting while my mother and I work remotely. I do go to the house every so often so Jim can see his daughter and for couples counseling via telecom. In one of the sessions Jim confessed something really hurtful and some of you guessed right, he cheated. It was while we were dating, before he proposed, and his treatment towards me was a projection. It was with an ex-girlfriend who had cheated on him and he hooked up with her as an ego boost. He started to feel guilty but was too scared that I would walk away to ever confess. Jim also admitted that he was scared when I got pregnant, our baby wasn't planned, was very anxious about being a father, but just pretended to be excited because he didn't want to look like an A. My husband was so willing to believe that our daughter wasn't his because he thought he had an out. Now that he knows that our child is his and has spent time with her, Jim regrets everything and just wants his family back, and is willing to spend the rest of his life making it up to us. This was all deeply hurtful and I've cried about it more than once. Jim has been lying to me and my ability to trust him hasn't improved at all. When the holidays came around, Jim's parents asked about seeing their grandchild and I didn't want to. They told me that it was selfish of me to keep her away and I reminded them of their past. They said that they've already apologized and tried to minimize the situation. They said that I can't be angry forever and that I need to learn to forgive them. I'm so ashamed of ever loving and marrying into this family and wonder why I didn't see this before. I've decided to contact a lawyer and will be filing for divorce after my daughter's first birthday. Comment 1. OP, do not take him back. He scorched the earth and salted it so nothing can ever grow again. It would be one thing if he wanted a paternity test when the baby was born, kinda shitty but understandable given the shock of the situation, but everything after that is unforgivable. He showed you who is and what he really thinks. I personally don't think I could ever look at someone the same way after everything you've gone through. You deserve so much better than this. You're NTA for not wanting to forgive for all the hurt he caused you. Comment 2. How is that people are so clueless about genetics? It's not like mixing paint. So NTA, I can't imagine how that would have felt or how he could think what he said and didn't cause irreparable harm.